Yeah. No, not really, I'm joking.
We'll take a short break here, but in just a few minutes find out how you can ask one loose woman a question, not get an answer, but end up answering a different question about yourself. It'll all make sense when we come back. Back soon. Welcome back to Friday's lunchtime gathering of the Loose Ladies. I'm Jackie Brambles, and with me today are Sherry Hewson, Carol McGiffin and Jane McDonald. Well, it's just 8 days until the start of the 29th Olympic Games. More on our preparations later. And Beijing is almost ready. The city's citizens have been given etiquette lessons ahead of the arrival of thousands of spectators and are being advised not to ask visitors about their sex lives, age and salary, as it is considered rude. So how familiar are you when you meet somebody for the first time?
Well, you see, a lot of people know a lot about me, but I don't know a lot about them. So, I tend to ask more questions than... If they ask me something quite personal, I'll either say, oh, it's a bit personal, isn't it? Make it into a joke, and then say, but then what about you? So right. I just change it right back and I ask more questions than they can to me.
Right.
Are you genuinely interested in the answers?
Yeah, I actually am, because I actually like people.
Do you sometimes glaze over? Like,
no.
Someone starts telling you their life story and I start going, oh, but I've got to go now.
That's terrible.
You're so rude.
Yeah.
I'm not rude, it's just being honest.
It is true, actually, because she never asks me about my kids or anything. And if she does, or if I ever bring them up, I do see this veil, this mist coming down over her eyes.
It's coming down.
Yes.
I do!
You don't.
But it's rude.
How many of you know?
But it is rude to ask direct questions, I think, you know, and I never really ask a direct question. I don't say to someone, are you married? I always say, is your partner accompanying you? Because they any gender then,
Yes, yeah.
and you're saying partner, so you're not
So
judging.
you twist the question round back to them.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
And then you find
clever.
out a lot more then.
You don't want to give anything away.
No, because I think they're a bit more interesting. That I'm too well known. Everybody knows what about us because we talk
Very
about our
clever.
lives every flaming day, don't we?
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know anything about them, so I tend to put it.
But
back
you don't
to them.
ask direct ones. You,
No.
so you're more subtle in your
Yeah,
approach.
a bit more polite.
A bit more polite, a bit more
Not like,
conversation.
not
The thing
like.
is, you know, I've got a slight problem. I don't think it's a problem. But anyway, if people ask me a question, I just ramble on. You'll never guess that, would you? I just go on and on and on and on and on. And then I
What,
tell
to
them
people you
everything.
don't
Look,
know?
she's glazing over.
I'm listening. To people that you don't know, maybe somebody that you're going to meet on your cruise
I
ship
know,
might
it's
say,
just that-
how are you, Sherry?
Yes, if I'm on one of those days and somebody says, so how are you? I'll go, oh, well, you'll never guess the other day. Do you know what? I was at home, and do you know what? And I go on and on, and I tell them everything, I think. And they seem to get slightly bored and thinking, is she ever going to shut up?
Yeah.
In fact, I met...
Do you ever interrupt them and ask them a question about themselves, or are you just...
No, because I
Too
don't
wrapped up.
take a breath. In fact, I met...
Really?
yes, I met that, you know, the
can't
actor
believe
that ate everybody. What's his name?
Oh, Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal
The
Lecter.
Hannibal-
Anthony
the actor.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Yes. I met him at a do, and I went up, and I was so shocked because I get a bit, you know, silly. And he said, I said, oh, hello, and he went, oh, hello. And I went, oh, I think you're fantastic. I love, and I couldn't remember one film he'd been in, not one film. Like I said, and I love, no, well, never mind. But that film,
with the,
yes.
but anyway.
And anyway, I took a breath, and by the time I took the breath in, he'd walked away. Talk about zoom.
How about you, Carol? Do you have any sort of, you know, boundaries in terms of what you wouldn't ask somebody, even if you were curious?
No, not really. I mean, I don't mind people asking me questions. I don't mind at all, and I won't tell anybody anything. But
I can't believe that.
Yeah, I don't care. And I ask people. I'm interested in other people, genuinely interested in other people. Unless they
Right.
start telling me their life story, they start giving me, you know, their emotional baggage, which I'm really not interested in. But the one question that really it doesn't annoy me or make me mad, but I just can't be bothered to answer it because I'm so bored with it. And it is always, people are always asking me, oh, so what happened with Chris Evans then? And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, 15 years ago, we've been divorced or separated for 15. I just say, look, I hope you don't mind, but I'm just so bored with that subject, I can't talk about it. So that's the only question that I don't answer. I'm open to everything else, but...
But what about if there was a gentleman friend who you were getting to know, who sort of wanted to know a bit more about you, and he perhaps raised the topic of previous relationships or, you know, how you felt about
Yes, because he's
your
got to
future.
know all about the bits and bobs about you, hasn't he?
You're
All those
joking, are you?
inside-
Men aren't interested in you. All they want you to do is talk about them.
Do you think?
No,
Yeah, that's a very cynical
that's
point
very
of view.
cynical.
Well, the thing is, there's only 3 questions. Look, if people start asking me about my past history, my relationships, I would think that's a bit weird, and I would think, oh, maybe that's a little cue for him to start talking about his emotional baggage, and so I probably wouldn't answer it. I'd deflect it. But you know, if I meet someone and I think, you know, maybe I might get on with them and see them again, then there's only 3 questions you need to know, isn't there? Really?
What's that?
What's that?
Are you gay? Are you single? And are you rich? And that's all you need to know, isn't it? What else?
She is currently single, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm joking.
Right, our first guest has blazed a trail for almost 2 decades as the face and voice of one of our biggest bands, racking up 15 platinum discs. Now, with male guitar bands dominating the music charts, she's strapped on her guitar for hits such as I Don't Want a Lover and Black Eyed Boy. And although she's recently left the security of the group behind her to go solo, she's still rocking out with the best of them.
Here comes the summer sun. He burns my skin. I ache again. I'm over you. And you can tell me your reasons, but it won't change my feelings. I feel the same about you. Well, you can say what you want, but I can hold you.
Please welcome Charlene Spiteri.
Looking at me already. It's weird. I always see everybody come on this show and you go to kiss one and then you realise you're not got enough time to kiss everybody.
bother with
So everybody
Yeah,
sits
so
down.
just you can just blank all of us.
Yeah,
that'd be
That's fine.
fine.
I thought I don't want to let
No.
I don't want to look like I don't kiss
I
everybody.
don't worry.
How familiar are you with people when you sort of first meet them? Do you ask them direct questions, or are you an open book yourself, would you say?
I tend to. It's weird. I mean, I was a hairdresser for years before. You know, once a hairdresser.
the holidays.
Once a hairdresser, always a hairdresser. So I tend to just chat away, and
Right.
you know, I'm pretty much chatty.
Do
And
hairdressers actually listen to the... I don't think they do, actually.
they never listen to what you want,
No.
but trust me, they listen to the conversation. The scandal I had when I was a hairdresser, it's outrageous.
I can never hear it because it's drier. Is it just me? And I'm thinking, can you hear me over there? Have you been on your holidays then? And then you're shouting it on, everybody can hear it. Can you?
Yeah, but remember, everybody's in there like shouting at the same time, so it makes no difference.
Yeah.
It's been a long way from those days for you. It's been amazing, all the albums that you've sold, the success of Texas, and now going solo. Was it a scary decision for you to do that?
It was weird because it wasn't like a conscious decision that I made beforehand. I split up from a long-term partner about 3.5 years ago now, and it was pretty unexpected, and things happened. And once I sort of got together, like where I was going with my normal life with like, my daughter and everything, and how I was going to handle being a single parent and stuff. After that, it was